How do you protest property taxes in Bexar County? You file with the Bexar Central Appraisal District by May 15th or 30 days after your Notice of Appraised Value is delivered, whichever is later. Then you settle informally with an appraiser, or you argue value in front of the Appraisal Review Board. That is the answer. Now let me show you the part that actually decides whether you win, and what to do if you are watching this after the deadline, because you still have moves. I am Christopher Beal, Army veteran and realtor here in San Antonio with Veteran Real Estate San Antonio. Every spring I pull closed comparable sales for homeowners across Bexar County. And honestly, most protests are not lost in the hearing room. They are lost 3 weeks earlier when somebody decides what argument they are going to make. When is the Bexar County property tax protest deadline? It is May 15th, or 30 days after the appraisal district delivers your Notice of Appraised Value, whichever falls later. That is the Texas Comptroller rule statewide, and it is the same rule here in Bexar County. For 2026, that window closed back in May. Here's what most people miss. That notice is not junk mail. It carries the account number and the property identification number you need to file online, and it starts the clock the day it goes out. So the first move is boring, and it matters. Save the notice, write down the mailing date, open a folder, file early. Not because early filings get better treatment, but because the last week is a traffic jam, and because filing gets you an informal conference date. That conference is where most Bexar County protests actually get decided. One appraiser, your evidence, about 20 minutes. If you do not settle there, you go to a formal hearing in front of a 3-person Appraisal Review Board panel. Those hearings run roughly May through July, and by late July, the appraisal roll gets certified and the ordinary protest window for the year is closed. What evidence actually wins an Appraisal Review Board hearing? Closed sales. Not opinions, not your tax bill, not what your neighbor said at the mailbox. Closed sales on comparable homes plus documented condition problems. Everything else is noise. I built it around 3 C words: condition, comparables, and consistency. Condition is what is genuinely wrong with the house. Foundation movement. A roof at the end of its life. An air conditioning system limping through a San Antonio August. Photograph it and get contractor bids. A bid is a number a stranger signed his name to. That carries weight. Comparables are closed sales near you. The appraisal district values property as of January 1st, so sales close to that date matter most. Bring your 3 best, not your 8 mediocre ones. 3 clean comps beat a stack of paper every single time. Consistency is the unequal appraisal argument. 4 houses on your street, same floor plan, yours valued highest? Say so out loud. Now the keep it real part. The most common reason a protest fails in Bexar County is a homeowner arguing that the tax bill is too high. The Appraisal Review Board has 0 authority over tax rates. None. They decide value and only value. So walk in with a value argument or do not walk in at all. And if your value genuinely matches what your street is selling for, do not protest just to protest. I would rather tell you that now than have you learn it in a hearing room. Can you still protest after the Bexar County deadline? Sometimes, yes. 3 paths stay open after your ordinary window closes, and almost nobody in San Antonio knows about the second one. First, District Court. If you are unhappy with the board's written order, you have 60 days from the day you receive it to file a petition for review in Bexar County District Court. That is the Comptroller rule, and 60 days is strict. Second, binding arbitration. Same 60-day clock, filed through the appraisal district to the Texas Comptroller, and an independent arbitrator decides the value. It is built for residential homestead property. It is faster and dramatically cheaper than litigation, and the deposit is largely refunded if the arbitrator lands closer to your number than to the district's. This is the one most homeowners have never heard of. Third, a Texas Tax Code Section 2525 correction motion. This is not a do-over on opinion of value. It fixes defects. A pool on your record that does not exist. Square footage off by hundreds of feet. A structure that burned down 2 years ago. Wrong owner on the account. You do not wait until next April for any of that. And if none of those fit, Start on 2027 today. Confirm your homestead exemption is actually posted on the account, not just filed. Photograph the deferred maintenance while it is still deteriorating. Save the roof bid. Do exemptions lower your bill without a protest? Yes, and they are completely separate from a protest. A protest challenges the value. An exemption removes value from the tax calculation, and you get it whether you protest or not. For 2026, the Texas School District homestead exemption is $140,000. If you are 65 or older or disabled, school districts add another $60,000 on top of that. Those are Texas Comptroller numbers, not mine. Now here's the one that matters most for the families I work with around Joint Base San Antonio and the Randolph Corridor. A veteran with a 100% service-connected disability rating from the VA or a rating of individual unemployability is entitled to a total property tax exemption on their residence homestead. Total. Partial disability ratings carry fixed dollar exemptions instead. And I have sat at kitchen tables in Shirts, in Cibolo, in Converse, with families who had that rating for 2 years and never got the exemption recorded on the account. The rating does not apply itself. Somebody has to file it. So before you spend a Saturday building a protest packet, go pull up your appraisal district account and look. Confirm the homestead exemption is on there. Confirm the veteran exemption is on there. That is a 15-minute job, and it is the highest value 15 minutes in this entire video. What do Bexar County sale prices actually say about your value? A protest is an argument about market value, so market data is the argument. I pulled Bexar County residential closings from the Sabor MLS today. The median closed sale price is running right around $300,000. Homes are averaging roughly 80 days on market, and price per square foot is sitting near $165. Here's why that matters. The appraisal district works from mass appraisal models, software at scale across an entire county. You get to work from actual closings on actual streets. And in a market where the average home takes about 80 days to sell and closes below asking rather than above it, that gap is where reduction lives. So take your appraised value, divide it by your living area, and compare it to that 165. If you are sitting well above it and your street is nothing special, you have a starting point. Quick recap. File by May 15th or 30 days after your notice. Bring closed comps and condition documentation and argue value, never the tax rate. If you miss the window, look at binding arbitration, district court, or a 25-25 correction. And check your exemptions first, because those work with or without a protest. None of this is legal or tax advice, and your own notice controls your actual dates. Verify anything time sensitive with the Bexar Central Appraisal District. If you want real, closed, comparable sales for your street before you argue value with anybody, I will pull them for you at no cost, whether or not you are buying or selling. Call or text 210-882-8583. I am Christopher Beal with Veteran Real Estate San Antonio. I will see you in the next one.